I'm Galit Ventura Rosen.
And I'm Angela Giles.
And we are the co-founders of Everyday Women.
And we're so excited to be with you today because we have a really important topic to talk to you about. And it's something that's really dear to my heart, Galit. So what are we speaking about today?
Today we're talking about you are a hard worker.
Wow. I think that embodies both of us.
A little bit too hard sometimes. It's such an interesting topic because we live in a society where we're taught work hard, work hard, work hard. And I'm going to ask Ange what her definition is first because I'm sure mine will be a little different.
Wow.
What does it mean to you when you hear the word you are a hard worker?
That means that I bust my behind to get things done. That means I do whatever it takes to make sure a task or a job or a business or whatever I'm working on gets done no matter what. And that was ingrained in me since I was a child. Now, things have shifted for me as I've grown professionally and personally. Now, I think sometimes you don't have to work as hard and there's other ways. I think you can work with grace and not have to work as hard. But that's how I was raised,
Yes, and I think that's the norm.
Yeah.
I think the norm is if you want to get somewhere, if you want to be something, if you want to make a lot of money, you better be willing to put in the work and be a hard worker.
And don't cry and get it done.
Yes, yeah. Well, there's a lot of crying going on. I'm a woman. For me, when I hear you are a hard worker, I have a little bit of a different definition. Yes, I was raised similarly, where I knew that if I wanted to do good in life, I'd have to go to school, get my degrees, have my education, have my hands-on experience, put in the hours. With me, when I really wanted us to have this topic in our book and in our podcast and TV show, you are a hard worker, it was more for the fact that you can't sit there and complain about your life and what you don't have if you don't choose to do something about it.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And hard worker can be defined in a variety of different ways, but at the end of the day, if you choose to complain or choose to be a victim and not make choices to do something about it, and even like we were talking about in another podcast episode about just making a simple small choice every single day, right, to move forward, that is where you start, I think.
Yeah, and I just want to elaborate for a second on what Ange said about not being a victim. We don't mean in any case of something happening to you. We mean in the fact that sometimes people in general will blame other people and blame their life for not having the things that they want. And I know Ange and I are quite close, and I know what she thinks. And she's like, you don't act as a victim, you have a choice. What that means is there are certain people out there that will say, well, I can't get a better job, and I can't make more money, and I can't have a healthier relationship.
Or it's always someone else's fault.
Someone else's fault. Thank you.
It's always someone else's fault. Now, I'm not talking about a victim of horrible things that happened to you. That's not what I mean. But I will say this. It's also your mindset. So anything that happens to you or any choice that you choose to make or not make, it's all about the way that you frame things and the way you position things in your life. There is someone that is close to someone I love, and this person always, for all these years, he would always say, come home from his job, well, all these people at my work, they're the ones that cause all these problems, and this is why I'm this way, and this is da-da-da, and this has gone on for like 35 years that I've known this person, and I just look at them and I'm thinking, that's your mindset. That's you not making a choice to do some personal development or look at things different or get a different job.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you think of yourself as hardworking, ask yourself what that definition means to you. Because I'll ask 10 different people and they'll have 10 different answers. For me, one of my favorite sayings is work hard, play harder.
And she does. I am telling you.
I love that. And my other favorite saying is work smart, not hard. So when we say you are a hard worker, as the everyday woman, what we're really saying is, what is it that you do every day in your life to get you a step closer to the life that you really want?
That's true. I love that. And it could be something as simple as, so say you want a new job. So you go take a class that will help you get a degree to get a new job if that's the case. Or say you want to start a business. You know, Galit and I both have started various businesses. And sometimes it's taking that step of faith. Galit and I were talking and we're like, you know, we really want to start a woman's movement. And we've talked about this for a while, right? I mean, and then one day we just say, you know what? We're going to take a leap of faith and do this.
And when you think about the things that you want, ask yourself if you're really putting in the work.
Right.
And this is really the key of why I love this topic so much. Ange and I came up with different topics separately and then topics together. This was one of my favorite ones, because, and also Angela's, because I want you to ask yourself, well, I want to have a healthy relationship. I want to make more money. I want to get a different job or apply for a promotion. What are you actually doing in work? That's the hard worker part. What are you actually doing in work to get there? So if you keep complaining about the things you don't have and you're not doing anything to get yourself there, maybe stop complaining.
Well, maybe stop complaining. And the other thing that I would say too is, so, and this is, I am famous for doing this. So I totally admit it. I've got the monkey mind that goes on, right? So sometimes you think, your mind starts racing and you think, okay, I want this thing, or I want to go to this certain place in my life, but I've exhausted all options. Like you just don't know where to turn. And that's where we really invite you to take a look outside of your own circle of influence, your own trust circle, and look in the everyday woman community even for people that might have a connection for you or that could help mentor you. Like, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for support, or even ask someone to help you come up with a different idea, because there's always different ways to move forward, even inch by inch, to that next goal or thing that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
And that's another definition I think of hard work is actually being able to look inside yourself and say, you know, maybe I don't have the answer, or maybe my circle doesn't, but maybe I need to step outside of my circle.
Yes. I believe that one of the reasons that Angela and I decided to work on this movement with Everyday Woman is because we know that we don't know everything.
No.
And Angela and I, our success is largely based on hard work, but also knowing where our areas of expertise are, where we're good and where we need to ask for help, support, inspiration, motivation, whatever it might be that we need. Sometimes from the outside looking in, people look at someone like myself or Angela and say, well, you've got it all together. Please, what was hard for you? Oh, how many episodes do we need to go through how many challenges we've been through in our life? So please recognize that you don't always know the whole story, and we're not sitting here anticipating we know yours. All we're asking is that you look at the work you're putting in to get the things that you want, and how much work are you actually putting in to get there. And if you don't know what to do, ask people that will.
And the other thing that I would say too that's really important is really look at your values, right? So say you have all these dreams and all these things you want to do, but you find that you're not accomplishing them all, or you're not sure what to do, so they kind of sit on the shelf like going to the gym. You know, people go for a couple months and then stop. So my thought process here is the fact that look at the values, look at the goals that you want to achieve, and maybe break it up into segments, because there's sometimes it's not your season for certain things, right? Like one of my big passions, honestly, is like ancestry work, you know, like looking at my ancestors and making a family tree. And I thought, okay, I want to do this, and I put it off for years, but instead of me doing it, I actually found out that someone else in my extended family had done all this work for me last summer. So I'm like, I had just started talking about it, and someone's like, oh, I'll give it to you, Angela. I didn't have to go do it. So sometimes it's just a matter of looking at what you want to do and then opening your mouth and sharing, and opportunities come.
Today we have a wealth of knowledge literally at our fingertips.
Right.
I have become the smartest mom on the planet since Google. Because I ask Google everything. My father cannot get enough of me. I've got my phone and all I have to say is, hey Google, and I ask a question and it gives me the answer.
Did you know that Google, if you say, how do you say something in a different
yeah.
language. I didn't know that. We
Yeah.
were sitting there the other night.
Or you can ask it, how do I pronounce a word in English? You can ask it, how do
Yeah.
I spell? You can ask it to calculate stuff for you. I mean, we don't even have the excuse anymore of not being smart enough and not knowing. Now, of course, there's a lot of great people out there
Right.
that also know how to teach you. But more than anything, we want you to really sit back and think, am I working towards the things that I want in my life? That's really what this topic is about
Yeah.
for us.
So we challenge you right now to go make a list of all the things that you want to accomplish in your life.
Yes.
And then sit with each one and see where you're at and what your next step might be. And lastly, after you've made the list and you've made the step, see if you can pare it down to maybe just 3 to 5 things that you can focus
I'm a
on.
3 girl.
A 3 girl?
I like 3 goals.
Right.
But then my 3 goals branch out to like 10 different things.
Right.
And then what I love to do, because the big picture is very overwhelming at times, is I will break it down into as many tasks as possible. So when we came up with the Everyday Woman idea, Angela and I sat down and said, okay, we have this idea and it's really big.
Really good.
What do we do to break it down? And we actually wrote down, we have whiteboards covered in our offices with actual umbrella kind of diagrams.
Right.
Where it shows Everyday Woman, and then it shows all the different branches, and then it shows all the different tasks, and then we start assigning them, and then we have due dates. It's a really good example for you that don't let the overwhelming big picture stop you. Instead, break it up.
You know, I have one quick thing I want to share because I know we're wrapping up this episode, but this really, really helped me is pick the one thing. Like if you have the one thing mindset and then have 3 little supporting activities each day that will help you achieve that one thing. So if your one thing is, you know, you want to take, well, let's say you're in a business and you want to get sales calls, for example, this is a perfect thing, and you're struggling in that arena, you started a business, then you pick 3 small subtasks that will help you find people to talk to make sales calls for that day. It's a really great idea, and you can apply this to anything in your life, so it helps you stay focused on that one thing that you're going to focus on for that period of time.
And for me, a lot of it is when I look at my goals, is something I'm about to do directly related to something that I want to accomplish.
Amen.
And it's not just business, personal.
Right, no, it
So
can
I
be
want to
anything.
spend more time with my family. I want to vacation more. I want to go out more on date night. Ask yourself, because for me, part of my journey and part of my success has been to learn also when to say no.
Yeah, well, amen. I'm like, amen, girl.
Not easy to do.
No.
Well, thank you for joining us for another episode of Everyday Woman. My name is Galit,
My name is Angela.
and we are the Everyday Woman community.
Thank you.